You know, it wasn't just like your average Sonic game. To me, it's a little bit more special. They put a lot more thought into it, so they made a few exceptions to the consistency rule. As far as Dr. Robotnik being a boss, I don't even think Sonic ever fought against Dr. Robotnik in Sonic 2. He fought against like robots and drones and gun robots and Shadow. I don't believe he just went toe-to-toe with Dr. Robotnik, if I remember correctly. And that's a first in any Sonic game, where, what, Sonic's not going against Dr. Robotnik? You know, not even once, not even a little bit, you know, so, that consistency definitely did kind of shake up with the 3D games, but to answer your question, as far as like the characters, my idea would be to keep the characters, don't just get rid of them, you know, decide who's important, who's not. Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Amy, they're core characters. They should be in just about every game, you know, pretty much. They should at least make an appearance. They're the cast of the game. They're the cast, the main cast. Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and Amy. Big, to me, is a cameo card. He doesn't necessarily need to be in any more games at all, but he should make appearances. Like, to me, he should have been in Sonic Generations, just as a cameo. As far as, like, Gamma, he died. They kind of replaced him with Omega. To me, Omega isn't a character that we need to see again. Simply, well, actually he could be, because, you know, he kind of has a bond with Shadow and Rouge.
He works with Gun.
He works with Gun. So,
yeah, working with Shadow are all working with Gun.
And see, that's another thing. That, to me, should also be spin-off territory. Shadow, Rouge, and Omega, you know, working for Gun. That's spin-off territory. However, everyone loves Shadow. Let's face it, there are tons of Shadow fans out there. Does he need to be in every Sonic game? No. Should he be in some Sonic games? Heck yeah. Shadow's cool. You know, but, like I said, the core cast is going to be Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and Amy. When people like Blaze has her own little story in her own little universe. First of all, the handheld universe and the main console universe are two completely different universes. So Sonic Rush versus, say, Sonic Adventure isn't gonna happen. You know, you can't do that. That's like saying, you know, oh, Princess Sally should be in the next game. No. You know, that's not gonna happen. So, as far as Blaze, she was reintroduced in Sonic 06. She does have a hint that, oh, that blue hedgehog, I might remember him, but they don't go into details, so forget about it. So, should we see Blaze again? No. She got rid of herself in the end of Sonic 06. She, you know, sealed Iblis, and for whatever reason that made her go into another dimension. So, should we see her again? Definitely not. We saw her.
Technically never happened.
Technically that never happened, but then again, she's also in the future. So
Iblis no longer exists in the past for her to do that in the first place.
So if her time frame is in the future, that also brings in Silver. Should Silver be in every single game? No, not at all. He should be in any time traveling game, yes. So, I don't know, that's a really broad topic, and I don't know if you want me to go into detail on that or not, but I can.
We would just focus on Sonic 3. Nah.
Yeah.
But yeah, interesting. Now, after going through, which I say, another boring stage, that's the thing, Sonic 3, Angel Island Zone was quite fun and entertaining, and Hydroxy Zone was kind of, I don't know. But we're in Marble Garden Zone. What do you think of Marble Garden Zone?
I'm gonna let Jim answer this one first.
Okay.
Shit, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this is my most hated Sonic stage. I don't think it's boring. I think it's frustrating and overdeveloped. There's just so many different gimmicks and so many different timed things that you have to do and things that you have to make sure you take care of and avoid. they took so much time in developing this stage that they just kind of overdid it. But that's not a fault for Sega. That's just me griping because I suck at the stage. I just hate the stage so much. I'm not saying I don't wish that they made it. I'm just saying that I would prefer to skip the stage wherever possible.
The only thing I just have my gripes about the stage is that spin dashing in certain sequences will lead to glitch deaths when those doors just close down on you. But other than that, I like the stage a lot because that it introduces back from the Sonic 1 formula that Sonic 2 didn't really have, and that's by saying if you go too fast, you're gonna lose your rings a lot unless you're gonna know the level design completely by replaying the stages. And yeah, there's lots of spikes and there's lots of robots trying to stop you in your path, trying to get from one side to the next, or trying to maintain the rings. And yeah, like there's quicksand, whatever, trying to stop you and stuff. Like, and then also you have energy shields to help you as well going through the stage. And I do really like the stage, but I wouldn't say this is my favorite stage. Probably third, second. I don't know. But yeah.
I just don't like the stage. It's I like the ruin feel to it. Like, to me, this is how, like, okay, if you think about Sonic Adventure, how you have that flashback with Tikal, to me, this reminds me of that. This is almost like you're running, like, look at that little temple shooting arrows at you, little statue. This is tribal, you know, it definitely fits Sonic's universe as far as level design goes, but as far as the traps and the pitfall, this is only the third level, you know? I think we're too little early for that, for all the cheap deaths and the difficulty, you know, of the stage. However, this kind of reminds me of Aquatic Ruin Zone.
Yeah, from the level design, yeah, definitely see that. Not to mention Aquatic Ruin Zone is one of my favorite. Yeah. Sonic 2. Pretty much why I did like it. But yes, Marble Garden Zone just changed the pace completely from the two other zones we have played through. That's why I really liked it. It just came out of the blue, and I just kind of took much more of a harder time at first to complete the stage because it's a much more longer stage and lots more alternative paths to go through. And it's pretty much it.
One thing I'd like to point out, the Sega Saturn, this is Sonic Jam on the Sega Saturn that I used to actually record this Let's Play for Sonic 3. The physics in this game are way different than the actual Sega Genesis version, because I played those games a lot. Like, I played the classic games a lot, and I'm used to the way the physics work. When I played this version, it really was different, and there's even options before you play the game to make the game a little different. So I'm not gonna say it was a bad port. I'm just gonna say that it's not the original, and that added to a lot of difficulties and glitches that I found, like glitching through walls and you know, just dying for no reason pretty much. And I don't know, it just kind of added on to my hatred for the stage.
Yeah.
Because this is kind of like a slower port to me for some reason. To me, it moves a little bit slower than the Genesis games. I'm not sure why. And you kind of get to see the faults of the stage a little bit better when you slow down.
But yeah, like from the future levels, glitches still do come around. Like you still see some in you do see a lot in Carnivalizer. But in Ice Cap, yeah, a bit. Then Launch Base, a bit more as well. That was kind of the complaints from the start when it actually came out, is that it was kind of glitchy, and that's why it was kind of mediocre, like for the Sonic franchise in 1994. It was considered like not the best out of the classic games, but it was okay.
There is a ton of love for this game out there. And, you know, I'm not sure if maybe they fixed some of the glitches with Sonic 3 and Knuckles, but I definitely know some of the glitches you're talking about in Carnival Zone and some of the other stages, but I never let the glitches bother me for any Sonic game for that matter. And I don't know, in this game you just kind of like deal with it, I suppose. Like right now, this spinny top is supposed to be like twirling around those two posts, and they're not. Maybe it's because I wasn't going fast enough, but I've never had that problem before when playing on the Genesis versions. Ever. You know, it's always just been scripted, you know, movements. And I don't know, I just found it really different to play through it this time. Maybe it's just me. I mean, the last time I played it was maybe like 3 months ago or so, but you know, I've never had some of the glitches and deaths and cheap hits that I've gotten through this playthrough. And I don't know, I chose the Saturn version because, you know, I just got Sonic Jam actually and added it to my collection, and I never had a chance to play it, so I figured what better time than now, but it may have been a bad decision.
What has been noted in the reviews of Sonic Jam wasn't like a good port for the classic games, because like many of the glitches were more exploited, and features and the frame rate wasn't running smoothly as well, like as playing in the Genesis version. So that was another fault there, but as to say glitches in terms of Sonic 3 and Knuckles, probably it's gone better, I guess. Probably because it was made for just Sonic 3 and Knuckles, the players, but at the same time, Sonic and Knuckles was more glitchy and much more really running fast, except for if you're talking about Sandokan Zone, because you're not going to get much running there in that stage.
You know, it could be that Sonic and Knuckles, when you attach it to Sonic 3, it could be just a giant, you know, a giant patch, pretty much. They may have fixed some of those glitches, because I haven't, I'll be honest, like when I do just pick up my Genesis and play a game, it's usually Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Even though Sonic 3 by itself is my favorite, I usually just throw the Knuckles on there, just because, you know, it completes the game. I'm thinking that maybe they fixed some of the glitches, because I do not, you know, or it could be the Saturn port, and I have no idea which it could possibly be, but something's not right with this playthrough. I'm not making excuses.
You have died a lot, especially when you died at Hydrosy Zone in the same place.
Yeah, I died in the same place twice. I'm like, wait a minute, I can spin dash here, and I try to spin dash, and it's like, no, you roll instead. I'm like, what?
Yeah, a lot of trickery in this stage. It feels like, that's the thing with these levels, this is the thing that's so different compared to Sonic 1 and Sonic 3's one, because, or should I say Sonic 3 and Knuckles, because most of the levels are like this, is that Sonic 1 was out to kill you, as well as trying to slow you down. Sonic 3 and Knuckles is just trying to take your rings away, trying to not make you go to get a Chaos Emerald from one of the secret rings. And what would you say does a better point of that? Like losing rings or losing lives?
Losing rings is very frustrating. However, any Sonic fan knows that one last faithful ring will get you to the end of the game. But you know, just like pitfalls and annoying deaths and just deaths in general, like just instant being smashed by something, or you know, whatever it is, I think that adds to the challenge to the game, and that makes it more challenging and less frustrating. Some people may find that losing your rings all the time is frustrating, but I never really notice it. Like, I get hit all the time.
Yeah.
And I'll just grab my rings and move along. It doesn't affect your score, it doesn't affect anything, you just get hit. That's it.
No, you get much more of a ring bonus if you go to the end, hit checkpoints and stuff, for an extra life and stuff.
Right, but I mean, just as far as like the game in general, it doesn't like hurt you to get hit too much. You know, like right now, I just beat that stage with like a ring, and yeah, it did hurt my final score, but it didn't take anything away from my gameplay. You know.
Because also, what happened in more of the later 2D Sonic games was that there was not going to be much more pit death traps and stuff. Like, remember Scat Brain Zone? Like, there was so much death traps always if you don't jump in the right platform.
Right.
In this one, it's just like you're always going to be safe. There's not much death traps in the game, and that's when it kind of toned down the difficulty. I don't know why this did that, and I wish that 2D Sonic games would have actually put more death traps and holes for to actually lose lives, because the level design in this game and Sonic 3 and Knuckles is brilliant, because it shows that you can use different characters versatile in this type of environment. But the thing was that it was so easy to go through from one stage to the next after keeping replaying the game again and again. So then once you know where all the tricks and traps are, it feels like an easy experience just to see Sonic running the motion of 2D.
Yeah, I see exactly what you mean. I too wish that they would use more pitfalls. People complain about the pitfalls in like the 3D games. You have to have some sort of challenge factor, you know, so don't fall. If you complain about it, then just don't fall. that's the answer to that problem, you know. Instead of complaining about, oh, there's so many cheap deaths and pitfalls, well, stop falling.
Because it would be much better, like, in Sonic, because the more faster you go, the more skill you do have to jump over these platforms. Like, if you know where the death traps and stuff are, you can jump all over them.
Right.
But then they kept encouraging more speed and stuff, so then they were just saying that remove these death traps and keep them going more faster. The 2D games, which they have done with their other Advanced series and Rush series.
Right. And it makes for a very boring, linear, hold right to win experience. Not saying for the classic games, definitely for the advanced games. The classic games are definitely more versatile, even without the pits. But you know, if you don't have pitfalls, if you don't have traps, if you don't have annoying cheap deaths, how are you going to get your challenge factor? You know, if you want to hold one button to win, honestly, I couldn't even recommend a game for you for that.
Because that was what Mario games did at first, and that's why I always keep and go to the 2D Mario games and play those, because there are death traps, there are enemies trying to swing at you, because that they have a horrible life system that if you get hit 3 times or even 2 times or once, depending on what shrink size you are, then you'll die. But in Sonic's case, it's swings that always saves people.
Right.
Not to mention that, as I said before, that the recovery is fun. When you actually get hit, you can automatically die from the next drop because the recovery is so fast. But then they toned it down in Sonic 2 and Sonic 3 as well, that once you get hit by something, you're in some visible recovery rate, and it takes more longer before you're actually in your normal state to actually die or lose rings. So it makes it more easier for the user just to collect rings again and then just jump on the enemy.
Right, exactly. The recovery factor, just like I said, that last faithful ring, all you need is one, you know, and you're pretty much safe, unlike Mario where it can be short, and you can't just, you know, when Mario gets hit and he shrinks, you can't jump on the enemy. You can actually get hit again right away and die.
Yeah.
You know, there's no blinking and walking through the enemy like there is with Sonic.
Yeah, because that your whole game stops and just shows that now you're shrinking.
Right.
But yeah, we are in Act 2 of Marble Garden Zone, and there's a lot more climbing up. So are we expecting to see a boss at the highest point of this stage?
Nope, the boss is going to be kind of at the middle point, I guess. Believe it or not, even though this is my most hated level, this is my favorite boss out of all the classic games. Because Tails is flying you, and he throws you, you know, you jump off, at, you know, and you aim for the boss. That, to me, that's just like cool. That's like cinematic. That's something that's never been done before, really. I mean, we saw Sky Chase with the tornado, but to have Tails just like carrying you and it's like, bam, get him, and you're like, Tails, catch me. You know, it's like pretty cool. It shows that Tails is equally determined as Sonic to defeat Dr. Robotnik, even way back then.
And as I said in like for the Sonic 2 Let's Play that that's what I wanted to see more of, because that Tails is on an adventure with Sonic, and I want to see much more encouragement for Tails to be into the action instead of just being there. I guess that Sonic can actually take care of it. But for that boss fight, as he said, that Tails was there to actually make him fly, even if it was infinite flight. But he was there to actually help Sonic defeat the boss and was part of the canon. I would say that he was a part of canon there. But then for the other bosses, do you really think that Tails was much more of a big issue to actually help Sonic defeat Dr. Robotnik, or was Sonic just push him out the way and say, wait kid, right here, and let me deal with this boss?
See, the thing is, like, with all the other bosses, it's almost like Tails is just there trying to get in a cheap hit whenever he can. And avoid getting hurt, even though he always does. And it's kind of like he's the little kid backseat, I can't do much, but I'm gonna try mode. But I'd rather see him kind of like, oh, I'm gonna be a valuable asset to the team, not a liability, you know?
Yeah. One interesting thing about this stage was that the boss, you would actually see the boss come out beforehand.
Right.
And it was always throughout the stage, as the scene just there. It never happened in the other later stages of Sonic 3, right? It was only special to this one.
Well, yeah, you're pretty much right on that. You don't really get to, there's not too many other stages where you see the boss beforehand and you can actually hit him a couple of times before you actually meet up with him for the final fight.
Yeah.
It seems familiar, I know it's been done before, but I don't think it was, you know, this stage emphasizes that a lot more.
Ooh, gonna get crushed.
Yep.
That happened to me my first time. Happens again in Flying Battery Zone as well, right?
As far as the changing level design and getting crushed?
Yeah.
I can't remember, actually.
It was when the platforms are raising high and you just get to your instant death, but you're trying to climb up to the actual final Flying Battery boss.
Or is that Sonic and Knuckles?
Yeah, Sonic and Knuckles.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But yeah, so with the Chaos Emeralds collected in this game, is there anything different from collecting all 7 Chaos Emeralds?
As far as like versus Sonic 2?
Yes.
Yes, once you collect the 7 emeralds in this game, well, in this game, you unlock Super Sonic, you get invincibility, for however long, you know, 1 ring per second, you know, depletes. You get to jump higher, of course, and he's still golden and all awesome and buttery smooth, but not as smooth as Sonic 2 to me. And if you hold on to your emeralds and your save file and lock on Knuckles, you actually get to have access to the super emeralds, like Hyper Sonic.
Yeah. So we're up to your favorite boss in this game.
Yes.
Lord. So what are the difficult moments of actually defeating this boss?
2 difficult moments. If you have no rings, sometimes you aim for the boss, but you die just like that. You'll get hit anyway. You'll hit the boss, but he'll also hit you. So you have to aim directly at his head, pretty much. And that's hard to do because he's always moving, and the Tails is always moving. You get to control Tails. Tails is kind of slow. And then when you jump off, it's not exactly accurate. You don't aim exactly where you're trying to aim. So you have 3 different factors working against you. It's kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of like playing chess, I guess. You just kind of have to figure out what's the best move.
Suppose if someone else was controlling Tails just before when he was about to dig up the platform, would you have got a good amount of hits with Tails?
Yes, because Tails can attack Dr. Robotnik also. So if someone else was controlling Tails, they could aim and get like 2 hits off of him. And, or if I missed, they could hit him for me.
And also, what do you think towards the boss fight music in this game?
I personally love all the music in Sonic 3 especially versus Sonic 3 Knuckles.
Yeah.
So I definitely like the music.
Because some was changed, like, the first act bosses, they're always different compared to Sonic and Knuckles one, or should I say Sonic 3 and Knuckles one.
Right.
And believe it or not, like, Michael Jackson had a hand in some of the Sonic 3 songs, I heard.
Oh yes, he wrote a ton of the songs, if not all of them, and they tried to scrap it because of news and media, but in the end they used some anyway. And if you listen to some of Michael Jackson's songs, Stranger in Moscow is actually Sonic 3 credits, just with lyrics pretty much. So once you beat the game and you listen through the credits, you'll listen to Stranger in Moscow, you hear the same chords, it's the same song, just slower and has lyrics.
Okay, cool. So we'll just leave it as that then, after that interesting thing about Michael Jackson. So thanks for you guys being a guest. Thanks for Sith426 for his YouTube and advertising www.youtube.com/Sith426. We see you guys later next time in the first act of Carnival Nights. So see ya.